And Robert, I want to talk a bit about this call we just had with President Trump. So he told me the talks have officially begun. That was something that we were wondering. I know we were talking about before whether or not we knew that they arrived, but we didn't know if they were just kind of doing the handshake thing and then beginning. So they are starting. He said he has no idea how talks are going to go today. I asked, are you hopeful? And he told me, whatever. Otherwise, we'll reset. We're ready to go. So what are you hearing out there?
Yeah, well, without question, Kelly, it's significant enough that we've gotten to this point, with this now being the highest level talks that have taken place between these two countries in decades, since 1979, with the vice president being there. You see him meeting with Pakistan's prime minister and some of the other top officials inside of Islamabad. This has been the means in which these conversations have taken place up to this point, largely going through the mediators. But now, for the first time since Operation Epic Fury has began, you are seeing the top officials for both of these countries at the same location having these meetings here. I mean, you talk about the optimism. I would say that it's hedged in different directions. On the one hand, you've heard from both sides who are saying that they're hoping to take the temperature of their counterparts to determine if there is actually room to make a deal. If there is room, talks will proceed forward. If there isn't room, both sides have said that they are prepared to return to the battlefield as quick as possible. As you see the Iranian delegation having their pre-meeting conversations, aligning all of their positions here. Two of those positions that we've heard publicly from Iran that they have given no indication on backing away from. One of them is the unfreezing of Iranian assets, and the other one is a ceasefire being applied to the situation in Lebanon. You saw Iran's Speaker of the Parliament issuing that call before these talks began. I would say that the initial indications from U.S. officials is that assets are not being unfrozen right now by Iran, and it is still a tense environment at this hour at Israel's northern border, as we have seen the Israeli Air Force carrying out strikes on southern Lebanon, hitting Hezbollah positions. There are supposed to be direct negotiations taking place between the Lebanese and Israeli government in a few days. That is significant in and of itself, because these countries do not have diplomatic ties, with the aim of pushing Hezbollah out. But right now, Israel is not showing any interest in stopping their operations in southern Lebanon, which to the Iranian position has been a key point of contention that they've brought up again and again. We'll see how that moves throughout the day. Kelly.
And Robert, and something else the president mentioned to me, I asked him about the intelligence indicating that Iran doesn't know where all the mines are placed right now, because they're saying that's why they can't reopen the Strait of Hormuz, because of the mines that they laid there, and of course the damage that could do to the tankers going through. The president says he doesn't know about that intelligence, but he says we know where they are placed, and that we are bringing some sophisticated mine equipment to that location. Have you heard anything about this and that intelligence that Iran doesn't know where the mines are?
Well, it is a concern that many of the Gulf states have articulated, and that we've heard here in the region, of exactly what kind of treachery is in the Strait of Hormuz and how accessible will it be in the short term. I would say that you've even had the president's most recent comments, which came out in just the last couple of minutes, that they believe that they've degraded Iran's capabilities in order to make the situation worse in the Strait of Hormuz, and now it's a matter of stabilization. There are other countries that have said that they're prepared to help with this effort when it comes to opening up the Strait of Hormuz. So far, they haven't necessarily married themselves to exactly what their commitments are going to be. But I mean, as you have seen with the Strait of Hormuz, just looking at the traffic itself over the last couple of days, where you've seen a couple of ships going through at a time, compared to, say, 2 months ago, where you were looking at 120, 140 ships going through. That's the end-all, be-all here, is finding ways in order to remove any of those countermeasures that exist. Kelly?
Sherman, thank you, my friend. We will see you again next hour. Stay safe.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.